Let me tell you something that's going to make you angry. The Social Security Administration has rules. Good rules. Rules that could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket. But they don't tell you about them. They don't volunteer this information. They don't call you up and say, "Hey, did you know you're eligible for this?" They don't send you a letter explaining the strategies that could change your retirement. They wait for you to ask. And if you don't know the right questions, you don't get the right answers. I'm 106 years old. I spent decades not knowing these secrets. My friends didn't know. My family didn't know. We left money on the table because nobody told us what we were entitled to. Today, I'm telling you, I've got 7 secrets, 7 things the SSA won't volunteer, 7 strategies that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars to you. And the last one, secret number 7, that one alone saved my neighbor $47,000. I'm not exaggerating. $47,000 she almost didn't get, but I'll get to that. Let's start with a secret that almost nobody knows exists. Secret number 1. You can undo your Social Security decision. Wait, what? Yes, you heard me right. If you took Social Security and you regret it, you might be able to take it back. My friend Dominic, he's 78 now, took Social Security at 62. Same mistake I made, same mistake everybody makes. 3 months later, his wife got a big promotion. Suddenly, they didn't need his Social Security check anymore. They had plenty of income. And Dominic realized he'd locked himself into a reduced benefit for the rest of his life when he didn't need to. He was sick about it, couldn't sleep, kept doing the math on how much money he'd lose over the next 20 years. Then his accountant told him something incredible. Within 12 months of starting benefits, you can withdraw your application. You pay back everything you received, and it's like it never happened. Your benefit stops, your record resets, and later when you're ready, you can apply again at the higher rate. Dominic paid back about $14,000. His benefit went back to growing. When he finally claimed again at 70, his check was almost $800 more per month than what he was getting at 62. Here's what I want you to understand. This only works within 12 months of your first payment. After that, the window closes. But if you're in that window and you realize you made a mistake, you can fix it. The SSA won't tell you this. They'll process your application, send your checks, and never mention that you have 12 months to change your mind. Now here's the thing. That secret could save you money if you acted too early. But this next secret? This one could get you money you didn't even know existed. Secret number 2. You can collect Social Security on your ex-spouse's record. My cousin Angela, she's 82 now. She was married to a man named Richard for 15 years. Richard was a piece of work, cheated on her, spent their money, made her life miserable. She divorced him in 1985 and never looked back. For decades, Angela thought she'd never hear Richard's name again. Good riddance. Then in 2008, Angela was applying for Social Security. The woman at the office asked her a strange question. "Were you ever married for at least 10 years? Angela said yes. Why? The woman said, "You may be eligible for benefits based on your ex-husband's work record." Angela almost fell out of her chair. Here's how it works. If you were married for at least 10 years, and you've been divorced for at least 2 years, and you're currently unmarried, you can claim up to 50% of your ex-spouse's benefit, even if they remarried, even if you haven't spoken to them in 30 years, even if they don't know you're doing it. And here's the best part. It doesn't reduce their benefit at all. They'll never even know. Angela's benefit based on her own work was $100 a month. Richard's benefit was $2,800. She was entitled to half of his, which was $1,400. That's $300 more per month for doing absolutely nothing except filling out the right paperwork. Over the last 16 years, that's an extra 50 cents, $7,600 Angela received because one SSA employee happened to ask the right question. What if that employee hadn't asked? Angela would have gotten $300 less every month for the rest of her life. You need to ask about this. If you were married for 10 years or more and you're divorced, ask about divorced spouse benefits. Don't assume they'll tell you. But wait, Angela's story isn't even the most surprising one. This next secret? I didn't believe it when I first heard it. Secret number 3. You can get a lump sum payment for benefits you didn't collect. My neighbor Frank, God rest him, he was stubborn, proud man, worked until he was 71 because he didn't want to take government money. His words. When he finally applied at 71, the woman at the Social Security office asked him, "Would you like to receive retroactive benefits?" Frank said, "What does that mean?" She explained that if you're past your full retirement age and you apply late, you can choose to receive up to 6 months of back payments as a lump sum. Frank was 71. His full retirement age was 66. He was way past it, so he was eligible. He received a check for almost $17,000 all at once. 6 months of benefits, paid retroactively. Now here's the catch, and this is important. If you take the retroactive payment, your ongoing benefit is calculated as if you started 6 months earlier, so it's slightly lower going forward. For some people, that trade-off isn't worth it. For Frank, who had some debts to pay off, it was exactly what he needed. But here's my point. Nobody volunteers this information. If Frank hadn't happened to get an employee who mentioned it, he might have walked out without that $17,000. When you apply, ask about retroactive benefits. Understand the trade-off. Make an informed decision. Okay, are you still with me? Because this next secret is one that breaks my heart every time I hear about someone missing it. Secret number 4. You can start with one benefit and switch to another later. This is advanced. This is the kind of thing financial advisors charge money to explain. I'm telling you for free. My friend Rosa, she's 79 now. Her husband Anthony died in 2015. Anthony had a good Social Security benefit. Rosa had her own, smaller benefit. Rosa went to the SSA office, devastated, trying to figure out what she was entitled to. The employee told her she could take her survivor benefit, which was based on Anthony's record, or she could take her own retirement benefit. She had to choose. Rosa chose the survivor benefit because it was higher. Made sense, right? What nobody told her was this. She could have taken her own smaller benefit first, let Anthony's survivor benefit keep growing, then switch to the survivor benefit later at a higher amount. Or she could have done the opposite, taken the survivor benefit while letting her own benefit grow until 70. There's flexibility here. There are strategies, and the SSA doesn't explain them unless you ask. Rosa left money on the table because she didn't know the right questions. Her sister-in-law, who had a smarter accountant, used the switch strategy and collected almost $40,000 more over the next decade. Same situation, different knowledge, different outcome. If you're a widow or widower, don't just accept the first option they give you. Ask about switching strategies. Ask if it makes sense to take one benefit now and switch to the other later. This brings me to secret number 5, and this one affects millions of Americans who have no idea. Secret number 5. Your grandchildren might be entitled to benefits on your record. My friend Carmine, he's 84 now. After his daughter passed away, he and his wife took in their 2 grandchildren, ages 8 and 11, raised them like their own. For 3 years, Carmine struggled financially. He was retired, living on Social Security, and now he had 2 kids to feed, clothe, and send to school. Then someone at his church mentioned something. If you're receiving Social Security and you're the legal guardian of your grandchildren, those grandchildren may be eligible for benefits on your record. Carmine didn't believe it. He went to the SSA office to ask, and sure enough, his grandchildren qualified for dependent benefits. Each grandchild received a monthly payment until they turned 18. Combined, it was over $1,200 extra per month. For 3 years, Carmine had been eligible for this money and didn't know. The SSA doesn't advertise this. They don't call grandparents and say, "Hey, are you raising your grandchildren? Because we have money for you." You have to know. You have to ask. If you're raising grandchildren, nieces, nephews, or any dependent children, ask about dependent benefits. The rules are specific, but the money is real. Okay, 2 more secrets, and I saved the best for last. This next one is something most people get completely wrong. Secret number 6. The money they take back isn't actually gone. Remember how I told you about the earnings limit? If you take Social Security before full retirement age and you work, they reduce your benefits if you earn too much. Most people think that money is lost forever, gone, stolen by the government. They're wrong. My cousin Paulie, the one who got that scary letter, he thought he'd lost thousands of dollars permanently. What actually happens is this. The money they withhold gets credited back to you later. When you reach full retirement age, your benefit is recalculated to account for the months where benefits were withheld. So if they withheld 12 months of benefits, your benefit at full retirement age goes up to reflect that. You get the money back over time through higher monthly payments. It's not a penalty. It's a deferral. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't care about the earnings limit. It still affects your cash flow in the short term. But knowing that the money isn't lost forever changes how you might think about working while collecting early benefits. Nobody explains this clearly. People make decisions based on fear of losing money that isn't actually lost. Knowledge is power. Now you have it. And now, secret number 7. This is the one I promised you. The one that saved my neighbor $47,000. The one the SSA absolutely, positively will not tell you unless you already know to ask. Secret number 7. You may be entitled to benefits even if you never worked. My neighbor Eleanor, she's 81 now. Sweetest woman you'll ever meet. Eleanor never worked outside the home. She raised 4 children, supported her husband Robert through 45 years of marriage, kept that home running like a Swiss watch. But she never paid into Social Security, not $1. When Robert died in 2017, Eleanor assumed she wasn't entitled to anything. No work history, no Social Security. That was her understanding. She came to me one day, worried about money. Robert's pension had stopped. She was trying to figure out how to survive. I said, "Eleanor, did you apply for survivor benefits?" She said, "But I never worked." I said, "That doesn't matter." Here's what Eleanor didn't know. As a spouse, she was entitled to survivor benefits based on Robert's work record, up to 100% of what Robert was receiving. It had nothing to do with her own work history. I drove her to the SSA office myself. We sat there for 2 hours. When we left, Eleanor was approved for $2,300 per month. And because she had waited several months to apply, she got a retroactive lump sum of over $11,000. She cried in my car. $47,000 in the first 2 years alone. Money she almost didn't claim because she assumed she wasn't eligible. The SSA doesn't call widows and say, "Your husband died, you're entitled to money." They wait for you to know. They wait for you to ask. If you never worked or barely worked, but your spouse did, you may be entitled to benefits. Spousal benefits while they're alive. Survivor benefits after they're gone. Don't assume you're not eligible. Go ask. The worst they can say is no. 7 secrets. Let me give them to you one more time. 1. You can undo your Social Security decision within 12 months. 2. You can collect on your ex-spouse's record if you were married 10 years. 3. You can receive up to 6 months of retroactive lump sum payments. 4. You can start with one benefit and switch to another later. 5. Your grandchildren may be entitled to benefits on your record. 6. The earnings test money isn't gone. It's credited back later. 7. You may be entitled to benefits even if you never worked. That's thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands, maybe more. And the SSA won't tell you any of it unless you ask. Here's what I want you to do. Right now, today, write down which of these secrets might apply to you. Were you married before? Are you raising grandchildren? Did you take Social Security early and regret it? Then call the SSA, or go to the office, or find a financial advisor who specializes in Social Security. Ask the questions. Get the answers. Claim what's yours. You worked your whole life. Your spouse worked their whole life. This money belongs to you. Don't leave it on the table because nobody told you it existed. I'm 106 years old. I've watched too many people miss out on money they deserved because they didn't know the rules. The system is complicated on purpose, But that doesn't mean you have to lose. Now you know. Now you can fight back. This has been Retire with Clarity. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, they won't tell you. But now you know to